Today's show is made possible by RexMD. If you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, RexMD is here to help you guys out. You can get starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis. They are now available. You get 90% off, by the way, at rexmd.com/chat. Speaking of excitement, Zack Martin, his holdout is over with the Dallas Cowboys. The two sides, Dallas and Martin, and his agency and whatnot, have agreed to a new deal, ending Martin's holdout. Martin was due for 13.5 or 14 and 14.5 million over the next 2 years. He now gets a new 2-year, $36 million contract. In total, it's about an additional $8.5 million in new money from the Cowboys over the next 2 years. So not a massive dent in their books. I mean, it'll cost them maybe an extra $4 million in cap space this year, somewhere in that range. If that, you had about 20 still because you didn't really make any changes with the Hooker Diggs impacts in year one for their new deals. The new 2-year, $36 million deal makes him among the top 5 highest paid guards, should be third on that list now. Martin had taken on about $1 million in fines from the Cowboys to get that additional $8.5 million. So do the math, he's made about a new $7.5 million with this new deal. As the Cowboys, whether it was because the memes will be, hey, they watched one game of Josh Ball and went, oh no, but they've watched Josh Ball before. They knew that was going to be the case there. Martin returns as he continues to be one of the best guards in the NFL. His PFF run grade was surprisingly low last year. I think we would be of the mindset that the PFF grade was low, kind of fell off all of a sudden when Terrence Steele went down. My big issue with the run grades in particular is sometimes the numbers are a bit inflated or impacted by others, despite what PFF tries to do. I will also make note, sounds like there were some direct conversations between Martin and Jerry Jones as they get this deal done for the Cowboys. The Cowboys had 4 different players play reps on the interior of the offensive line at guard. Matt Farniok, and my issue with the grades, especially for like pass blocking stats, the run grade for PFF was 32, or there was 91.7. They said he did a great job in the ground game. The pass blocking grade was 32.4. The total PFF grade was 84.6. And he had more pass block snaps than run block snaps. I don't know about you guys. That math ain't mathin' for me. I don't know how you get 91.7, 30.4, and get 84.6. That math is not mathin'. I did think Austin Richards played pretty well, all things considered. Probably still needs some more time. Josh Ball he was fine in the run game. Continues to have major problems passing game way too often. When there's a bad play, Josh Ball's back, he's turning the defense, and he's looking down at the quarterback. That's not a good thing. I think TJ Bass is actually pretty solid, mainly in the passing game. But none of those guys are Zack Martin. Now this can be your starting 5 when they're healthy. I think we know they're not necessarily going to be healthy every single game, and I doubt we'll see these guys play much, if at all, in the preseason because the Cowboys tend to prefer a rust over risk mindset, which I don't mind from that perspective. But Martin's back. Some great news today on the Cowboys Report. What is your excitement level over Zack Martin ending his holdout? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 at the pinned comment. The ad comes here on YouTube. That's fine. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. But I, for one, am glad this is over. I didn't like not having a team captain, best guard there. Martin is worth the exception if you're worried about, we had to redo his deal. We had 2 years left. Martin's a Hall of Famer. Frankly, I think it's a little dumb and lame it took this long. I think you could have found a way to make it work. Now, maybe Martin was asking to be the highest paid guard in the NFL, and Dallas played some hardball there. But this is another example of the Cowboys saying, well, we don't have the money to do it. We can't make it happen. And then like a week later going, well, yes, we did have the money to make it happen. It's always been a posturing point from the Cowboys that they never really live up to there. This doesn't really impact the Cowboys' long-term books. They're fine. It will not limit the ability to pay other players. I am glad to have Zack Martin back because the alternative for this team was playing Josh Ball or somebody off the streets, and none of those ideas I was on board with. If you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom, Do you wish you could have a more fulfilling sex life? Well, you are not alone. So I'm excited to tell you guys about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. RexMD offers a discreet and easy way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's teams of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the USA so you can trust its quality. Plus, their customer support team is available 24/7 to answer any questions or concerns you may have. If you're ready to take control of your sex life, say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90%, pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. It's rexmd.com/chat for the limited time deal. Injury news and notes now for the Cowboys. They had a mock game, so it was a walkthrough practice today, so nothing really of note from camp. Nahshon Wright, however, is dealing with a slight high ankle sprain. His terminology there from Todd Archer sounds unlikely, per head coach Mike McCarthy, that Wright will be able to play against the Seattle Seahawks, which is pretty disappointing. I thought he was fine in the Jags game. They're picking on other corners that aren't going to make your team. He missed a good portion of OTAs and minicamp. He's just kind of been nicked up a lot this offseason. He is fighting for a roster spot, so I'm disappointed he won't be out there. Will mean plenty of run for Eric Scott. Maybe they'll give some more Deron Bland outside corner reps in this one, and maybe some more Kelvin Joseph. Maybe he gets a chance on the outside. He's been playing nickel, though. Maybe that'll continue to be the case. Malik Jefferson, meanwhile, seems like he's avoided a major injury, a foot sprain in the plantar fascia area. As I totally flipped and read the first word wrong there. He has a shot to play against Seattle. McCarthy's always been a very cautious player or coach when it comes to player injuries, so I don't think you're going to have a scenario where Jefferson necessarily would make the team or be rushed into duty. Like, they'll be cautious there. I think Jefferson is a long shot to make the roster in the end for Dallas. There are better linebackers. Obviously, Damone Clark. I was really impressed by DeMarvion Overshown. Leighton Vander Esch, of course. Jabril Cox, Devin Harper, I think are still above Jefferson at this point. But we'll keep an eye on him, see if he's able to play moving forward. Now, the Cowboys play the Seahawks in Week 2 of the NFL preseason. So it is a feud week with our Seahawks channel. My guy, Tyler Jones. I want to crush him in everything this week. Supers, likes, and the sub battle starts right now. This is based on the Sunday subs gained. We're at 99. We have the early advantage. I want to crush him. And in exchange for subscribing, you'll get free Cowboys videos. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button right now. Let's talk Kelvin Joseph now. Look, he, to be clear, is on the roster bubble for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, our Sports Illustrated said that Joseph didn't really do anything against the Jags, and they kind of ripped on him a little bit. And I have been plenty mean over the weeks and years and months about Kelvin Joseph. But I actually thought he played really well against Jacksonville. In fact, I thought that was one of the best games he's ever played wearing a Cowboys jersey, which I know is a very, very low bar to clear. He was targeted 3 times in that game, did not allow a catch. In fact, had a really great pass breakup where he got his hands up and played through the catch point and broke up the throw. I thought, again, low bar to be clear. I thought that was a good game out of Kelvin Joseph. He's kind of in the nickel corner role now. They're giving reps to Nahshon Wright and Eric Scott, and they think Deron Bland can play on the outside if they need him to there. Israel Mukuamu can be that nickel guy too. Jordan Lewis is banged up. There is no guarantee, to be clear, that Kelvin Joseph is going to make this team. But I do thought that game was a good step in the right direction for Boss Man Fat, who needs it. So prediction time. Will Kelvin Joseph make the roster? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in, knowing there's still 2 games left to go, plus some other practices, etc., in the comment section. Y or N. We'll wrap up the rumors news portion of today's show with the Deuce Vaughn conversation. I thought he looked great in his first preseason game for the Cowboys. He was the Cowboys' most productive back on the ground and had a really nice, spinning, leaping catch that, by the way, I did get to catch some of the all-22 of that. That throw from Will Grier, if it's on the money instead of high, in part because of the pressure, it's a walk-in touchdown from Deuce Vaughn on an angle route. I love to see it. My proposal here is, look, Deuce Vaughn ran against the backups, which you're going to get for the most part in the preseason, but it was also the backups to a certain extent. I would like to see him play with what I'm going to call the starting backups, where you're not going to play your starters, but your twos, as opposed to maybe some of your threes out there against the Seahawks. Tony Pollard's not going to play. I don't know why he would. Rico, Dowdle, Malik Davis got the first half work. They basically had Deuce Vaughn out there for 2 drives, and we're like, he got his work, he's good. And that's what happened for Deuce Vaughn. It was 2 drives. He had the 50 yards and on the ground and 6 yards through the air. I was very impressed by Deuce Vaughn. I want to see more of him for the Cowboys in the preseason moving forward. So pick an RB2. Hunter Lipke, I would like to put him back on this list next week, but I think there's a clear tier gap right now. So pick one. DV for Deuce Vaughn, RD for Rico Dowdle, or MD for Malik Davis. Get those votes in the comment section. Deuce Vaughn was super impressive. 8 carries, 50 yards, a 6.3 average. We do have some great advanced stats here, by the way, from our friends over at PFF. Yards after contact per carry was 5.38 for Deuce Vaughn, which was not quite, but almost the combined numbers of the next 2 highest players, Hunter Lipke and Rico Dowdle. Malik Davis didn't do much in that game. He was kind of bottled up. I thought he just kind of ran straight too much. Dowdle was playing well, had the nice forced missed tackle, but he also had a bad fumble there. Deuce Vaughn had 3 forced missed tackles. He and Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis both had 1 pass protection opportunity. No pressure allowed, so they got graded out well there. Malik Davis, the PFF dinged him for the blitz up the middle. I don't know if that's really his fault, but they did blame him for that, and that's a bad grade. Lipke was fine in that area, but he kind of got some late fourth quarter work, so I wouldn't read too much into it in the end. I think Deuce Vaughn right now, pretty clearly, should get a bigger role for this Cowboys team in this upcoming preseason game. And some breaking news here before we go. We were live, of course, when this went down, but Ezekiel Elliott has found a new team after all. Or finally, I should say. 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the New England Patriots, who had brought Zeke in for a visit earlier this offseason. 1-year deal. It's a $3 million base salary, a $1 million signing bonus per Adam Schefter. So incentives tacked on to get to the up to $6 million figure. So 1 year 4, I think, is pretty reasonable for Zeke and what he did at this stage in his NFL career. Did get the fresh haircut. There had been some whispers of, hey, maybe Zeke's going to sign soon. Kind of throughout today, we kind of alluded to those as part of our live show. But it's true. The Zeke to the Cowboys for this season, at least, is over. He is now a member of the Patriots. He'll back up Ramondre Stevenson. And the Cowboys will see him October 1st back in AT&T Stadium.